In this video, you will learn more about understanding your lease agreement, important English vocabulary, renting policies, proper maintenance, safety practices, being a good neighbor, and the current housing crisis. We'll start by discussing the housing crisis and what it means for JFCS clients. Throughout the United States, there is a national housing crisis, meaning that there is a shortage of rental units and options for homeownership available. The units that are currently available are becoming more expensive for Americans and refugees alike. This makes finding homes more challenging than one might expect. While finding affordable houses is challenging for Americans, it is even more challenging for refugees. As refugees arrive in America without an American credit history, without employment, and without rental history, these three things are common when choosing who they will allow to rent their homes. Many of the houses in Pittsburgh are old. It is not uncommon for homes to be over 100 years old. Just because the houses are old, it does not mean they are not good or not safe. These homes have been updated to meet modern standards. You may notice homes here have a mix of new and old features. The styles of home, types of flooring, woodwork, exposed stone in the basement, or smaller than average closets. New and old homes have pros and cons. It is important to remember your first home here will not be your last. You may choose to move at the end of your first lease. Pittsburgh has a long history. Many families that lived in Pittsburgh worked in factories and lived in smaller, affordable homes. For a time, Pittsburgh population was shrinking, and there are some homes that were abandoned. Some neighborhoods have empty houses. Even a neighborhood with some empty homes can still be safe and offer nice places. The city of Pittsburgh has 90 unique and distinct neighborhoods. Each one is different, and the homes between these neighborhoods can vary in price. Finding housing in a particular neighborhood can be difficult or even impossible, depending on the price or availability. In America, it is common for all adults in a family to work to afford housing, not just one adult per family. Your lease agreement is an important document that you as the tenant need to know. However, leases are often written in complicated language, and it can be overwhelming for renters to understand all the information. Not all leases are the same, but many have the same important pieces of information covered in this video. Your lease should have your name listing you as a tenant or renter. Sometimes there are limits to how many people can live in the same apartment. Generally, adults and sometimes children will be listed on a lease agreement. Your landlord's name or company will also appear on this part of the lease. They either own or manage the property you are renting. Your lease likely has a no pet policy right now, meaning that you are not permitted to have pets in the place that you are renting. There are many other rules in your lease. When renting, it is important to follow all the rules of the lease. If you break any rules outlined in your lease agreement, upkeep of the property, getting a pet, smoking, not paying utilities, new damages, you can be charged additional fees, lose your security deposit, or even face eviction. Eviction means that your landlord will take legal steps to remove you from the place that you are renting. If you are evicted, it may result in your family being unhoused for a period of time, and you will need to find somewhere else to live. You will be responsible for paying what is past due and other fees incurred that you are expected to pay. If you are evicted, other landlords will be able to see the eviction in your renting record, and it will make renting in the future more difficult. A typical lease will last about 1 full year, unless otherwise specified. In some cases, landlords will agree to a lease that is shorter than 1 year, depending on the agreed-upon terms stated in your lease. If you have new damages or fail to pay your rent, your landlord will keep the security deposit to cover the costs. At the end of your lease term, usually 30 to 60 days before the lease expires, you will have the option to renew your lease and stay in your rental unit. If you choose to renew, you will sign a new lease with your landlord for the next year. You do not need to pay them an additional security deposit if you have already paid from the previous year. If you choose to move, you will need to notify your landlord in a timely manner. Look for your own apartment, sign a new lease, transfer your utilities, and move from your current unit. If you do not notify your landlord by the time the lease specifies, your lease may automatically renew, and you would have to break your lease to move elsewhere. This could be very expensive. As a tenant, you will have some rights and some responsibilities while renting. You have the right to fair housing, which means fair treatment before and during renting. No one may discriminate against you based upon disabilities, familial status, nation of origin, religion, race, or sex. You have the right to feel safe in your home. Your landlord may not harass or proposition you for sexual favors. You have the right to quiet enjoyment. This means you may enjoy your home peacefully, and the landlord may only enter the property if they provide proper notice. Proper notice is usually 24 hours notice by text or phone call unless there is an emergency. You have the right to a safe and habitable living environment. You must have working smoke alarms, working hot water, drinking water, heat, waste disposal, and sewage, functioning locking windows and doors, and a functioning bathroom. As a tenant, your responsibilities include the following items. You may have specific requirements about landscaping, garbage disposal, snow removal, or other property upkeep for the place you are renting. It is the responsibility of the whole family, adults and children, to help take care of these places where you are living. You must report any problems to your landlord. It is recommended that you save your landlord's number in your phone. If your landlord is contacting you by phone call or text, you must answer them. They may have important information to share with you. Depending on what type of unit you are renting, you will have people who either live in the same building or live very close by. It is important to remember to limit loud volume between the hours of 11 p.m. and 8 a.m. This includes listening to loud music, having a party, doing chores like vacuuming or cutting the grass, home improvement projects, children playing, and so on. Being a good neighbor means keeping your unit clean and free of trash. Trash should be taken out to the street on trash night, and the garbage cans returned after trash pickup. It is important to take out the trash regularly. This will help you avoid a pest infestation like flies, cockroaches, ants, mice. Pest infestations can quickly spread to other rental units and affect your neighbors. If you are having issues with pests in your apartment, it is important to contact your landlord. Your rent will need to be paid each month. You will not receive a monthly bill for your rent, but you are expected to pay the same amount on time each month. If you pay your rent by mailing a check, you must mail your check a few days before your rent is due. If you send your rent check on the same day that it is due, it will arrive late. If the payment for your rent is late, you will likely need to pay a late fee. Water, electricity, gas, sewage, and trash collection are common utilities or services for home use. JFCS will help set these utilities in your name. Your family is responsible for paying the utilities that you use each month. If you do not pay, your services may be turned off and you will be charged a reconnection fee on top of what is owed. When you move, you will need to transfer your utilities to your new home. In your lease, you can find which utilities you are responsible for paying and which your landlord may cover, included in your monthly rent. If you have problems in your rental unit related to structure, safety, or appliances, you should contact your landlord. It is important to notify your landlord as soon as you notice issues. In some cases, you may be asked to complete a maintenance request, where the landlord is expected to make repairs in a timely manner. It is important to let your landlord know about problems because they may become bigger and more costly in the future if not addressed right away. When you sign your lease, it is the responsibility of the landlord to provide information if you live in a place that was built before 1978. Before 1978, many paints contained lead. While paint today no longer has lead in it, older homes with flaking or peeling paint may expose you and your family to the harmful substance. Keep children away from areas where they may come in contact with flaky, peeling paint chips and notify your landlord of necessary maintenance requests or repairs. Containing lead-based paint is generally a simple fix, in which loose chips are removed in a safe way to prevent dust, and a fresh coat of paint is applied over the area. If you do not notice flaky paint in your home, you do not need to worry about lead exposure. If you are moving, you must leave your rental property in good condition. This means you make sure there are no new damages to your unit. You throw away all trash in trash bags, and you take the bags out on trash night before you move. Do not leave furniture in the rental property. If you cannot sell the furniture or give it away, then you must dispose of it on trash night. If you are getting rid of a TV or other electronics, you need to dispose of them properly at a recycling event or special trash pickup. This is because regular trash pickup will not accept TVs or other large electronic items, which means your landlord will have to pay to remove them. The landlord will keep money from your security deposit to cover that cost. When moving out, you will need to pack personal items in boxes or bags, remove all furniture, clean and empty the bathroom, clean and empty your refrigerator, sweep, vacuum, mop the floors, wipe down walls and surfaces like counters and cabinets, and remove all personal items. Take pictures or video and document the condition you left the apartment for your records. If you leave your unit in good condition and ready to rent for the next person, you should receive a check for your total security deposit 30 days after you move out. If you decide to leave your unit for any reason before your term ends, this is known as breaking a lease. You have signed an agreement with the landlord agreeing to pay monthly rent for a certain amount of time. Moving out before your lease can result in penalties that you will need to pay. Each lease is different, and some penalties can be very expensive. It is best practice to complete your lease, since breaking your lease will result in your landlord keeping your last month's rent and security deposit. If you plan to move out, you will need to contact the utility companies to cancel service at your current address and change the utilities at your new address into your name. Your lease has outlined important policies which you have agreed to follow. Upon successfully completing your lease, you can either renew to live in the same apartment or begin your search for something more suitable for you and your family. In the future, most of your leases will provide the same or similar policies. It is important that you understand your lease and your responsibilities with renting. As a renter, you also have rights, including proper notification if your landlord needs to come to the unit and make repairs, as well as the right to feel safe in a well-maintained apartment. If you choose not to pay your rent or your utilities, this will negatively impact your credit score. It is important to pay these bills monthly because if you fall behind making the payments, it can be difficult to catch up. The service for these utilities can be turned off, and you will be charged an extra fee for a reconnection for them to be turned back on. If you owe money to your landlord or your utilities and go without paying for a long time, even after you leave, there will be attempts to collect your debt. If you do not pay or make an effort to pay these debts, your debt will be sent to a debt collector and your credit score will be negatively impacted. It makes it harder to rent an apartment in the future, get utilities in your name, and lenders will be less likely to give you a loan for a car or a house. The housing crisis has not only impacted rentals, but also the home ownership market in Pittsburgh. You will be able to buy a house, but you will need to be patient and save your money. When it comes time to buy your first home in America, it is important that you are established in a job and earning money for years before you buy your first home. You will need a loan to buy a house, and your credit score and your work history are part of successfully buying your first home. Rather than paying rent each month, after you buy, you will pay a monthly mortgage. Depending on the terms of your loan, most mortgages are for a term of 30 years. Buying a home is a long-term commitment, and you will need to be responsible for all utilities and any repairs or maintenance your home may need during that time. We hope this video can give you context about housing in America and in Pittsburgh. We hope it has also helped you understand your lease agreement and your rights and responsibilities regarding housing.